So it seems that Daniel Vavra, the creator of Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, is in full-on meltdown mode on Twitter right now over the fact that he sold out to Embracer Group and has no morals, integrity, or soul, and that he is now being clowned on to the max in the replies, and because he is in full-on copium mode right now, he is basically trying to rewrite history as, you know, everybody was gay back in those days. Like, look at this amazing tweet, for example. This will be terrifying for some. These are the 3 kings who visited newly born Jesus, and the 3 of them are all sleeping in a bed together. Wow, who would have seen that coming? A man with a certain ancestry that you can look up for yourself, perverting Christianity, and naturally he is getting shit on by actual based people who don't need to wear t-shirts saying that they are based, LARPing as something they are not. With man, you just keep digging deeper. Hasn't your company advised you yet just to shut up? I'm about to cancel my pre-order. Like, I'm surprised he hasn't. Like, why have you not canceled it yet? Like, let's be honest. And also, it turns out every historical figure was actually gay. Yeah, they were all actually gay. You know, every single historical figure that you can actually ever think of, you know, George Washington, you know, he was a homosexual, obviously. You know, Abraham Lincoln, you know, he's obviously a homosexual. You know, Alexander the Great, you know, homosexual. Every single person back then, homosexual. Like how did you not know that? And also, are you trying to convince people to accept LGBTQ+ by finding obscure sketches? So yeah, Daniel Vavra, to own it to the chuds, keeps posting, you know, NSFW pictures of old artwork depicting people in like rainbow acts and shit, if I were to like say it nicely, because, you know, drawings indicate factual information, you know? It's not like just anybody could have drawn a picture, you know? All pictures are like factual photos of like what actually happened. He also doesn't seem to be like very happy, like not too happy about this, that a game called Hello Kitty Island Adventure surpassed this game on this charts.
This is hilarious!
I mean, it was short-lived, but hey, it's still quite funny, let's be honest. So yeah, we have the typical shills defending Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, plenty of them. One being a neckbeard who is really desperate to like get my attention. He keeps adding me despite me literally never responding back. And for anybody who doesn't know, on YouTube, if you add somebody in a post, it will give the person you added a notification. And he said, honestly, Latina Parfait needs to be quiet. Their videos featured racist jokes and false information about Kingdom Come Deliverance 2.
The first thing I can tell you, salt. That's all I can taste is salt.
Then proceeds to not give any information on how I am wrong or what false information I gave. And no, I'm not a racist because I am a woman of color, okay? I am the Latina queen. Bow before your queen, you fucking peasant. And make sure to subscribe, join my Discord, and like the video, as I, your Latina queen, will never let you down. Ever. But anyways, he made a great video titled Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 is not woke, and here's why, which I'll just give you the TLDW of it. It was shit.
Optional gay romance, and the players confirm that you have to go out of your way to find it. It's really difficult to even do. The cutscene involving with it is not even explicit, and it is optional.
I'm gay, I'm gay, I'm gay, we're totally gay.
And of course he defends the gay romance, and since it's optional and you have to go out of your way to do it, that just means it's okay now. Like literal I ride the short bus energy right there, okay? What is it having to be hard to do or hard to find have to do with anything? Like seriously, that's not the fucking point, you idiot.
Dude, get the fuck out of my chat, dude. Just go do something. Go get some pussy or something, dude. Real talk.
But we'll get more into that later. He's also now adding Remnant, calling him a fucking idiot, cause Revenant called out a bunch of grifting retards defending KCD2, and since, you know, he is one of those SJW retards defending it, you know, that honestly like probably really hurt him deep in his feels. But yeah, you're welcome that your queen Latina Parfait addressed your dumbass and gave you your 5 seconds of fame. Now sit down and be a good little boy, okay? But anyways, he also is not the main course of this video either. The main course is from this channel called Cosoman, who has made great videos like the real reason the Veil Guard flopped, and says you're an idiot if you think wokeness and DEI killed BioWare and the Veil Guard.
Is a far more complicated question. We've heard many explanations from idiotic ones like it's wokeness and DEI.
Yo, is this person fucking retarded?
Yes.
So we already have some great pre-established lore on this wonderful human being. But anyways, the video we will be watching is why the latest KCD2 controversy is just dumb. And I just gotta say off the bat, this is one of the worst and most pointless videos I've ever seen in my existence, okay?
I just fucking real talk.
I'll give the gist of it before we watch it. He gives a 15-minute history lesson on black people and Islam during the 15th century, and by the end of the video he basically admits that it would not be possible. He literally says, and I quote, "Why would they be interested in him? Is there any evidence or direct communication between the Ottoman court and the people of the Malian Empire? Well, not in this period."
Why would they be interested in him? Is there any evidence of direct communication between the Ottoman court and the people of the Malian Empire? Well, not in this period, but in the latter part of the century and next century.
Flashback.
I decided to investigate, and it turns out that not only are these grifters, which they are, completely historically inaccurate, but their comments display either complete ignorance of how history is actually made, completely historically inaccurate.
End of flashback.
Well, not in this period, but in the latter part of the century.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm kind of retarded.
So he basically just wasted everybody's time with a 15-minute history lesson to tell us what we already knew and proving that the chuds are in the right this whole time. Like, you can't make this shit up. He admits it was not possible. Like, this is truly one of the most disingenuous, just straight up bad videos I've seen in a while.
Real talk.
Like, it's not as bad as the Warthaby stream.
If the developer has lied, do you want to know how many fucks I give about that? Grow a pair of fucking balls, man. My goodness, how many fragile people is it? He lied! Somebody lied! He made a game!
Where he has a complete meltdown over his audience calling him out after him defending and shilling for the game, but it's still quite bad. So let's just start the video from the beginning and see what he has to say.
Some things in life are guaranteed. Death, taxes, and that at some point a new release will be accused of going woke.
Is that a problem though? Is that supposed to be a bad thing? Wow, modern games are being accused of being woke. Then he plays the heel versus babyface fucking pronoun clip, which, let's just be real, let's keep it a $1.23. He was in the right. Yeah, he overreacted, just a tiny little smudge, just a little bit, but it doesn't mean he was wrong about these DEI hired developers adding pronouns to video games and removing sex and gender for body type A's and B's or body type 1s and 2s.
And the latest target is Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. Despite having praised KCD2 as a bastion of high quality gaming against the blue-haired onslaught of DEI and wokeness, the brave anti-woke crusaders have now sniffed an opportunity to turn their swords against KCD2.
Well, yes, why wouldn't we? When a game is being advertised as historically accurate, and that's one of the biggest and the main draws of playing Kingdom Come Deliverance over any other, generic fantasy RPG or magical, RPG, then of course the audience that the game was literally marketed towards is not going to be happy when you add shit that wouldn't make sense in that time period. It isn't rocket science to figure this shit out. Daniel Vavra and Warhorse Studios completely sold out to Embracer Group, and it's pretty obvious if you have any level of pattern recognition to realize that these changes, such as Henry's sexuality being bi now and up to the player, because we're player sexual and shit out in this bitch, and the inclusion of possibly multiple black characters in a time period and setting that wouldn't have had any, is only being added for the sake of crossing off a checkbox. Of course people aren't going to be happy with it. We were all lied to by Daniel Vavra that he was this based chud and Kingdom Come Deliverance was also this based and historically accurate game. But nope, that's not the case. It's joined the rest of the woke slop out there.
This time surrounding the, according to them, ahistorical presence of a black character named Musa and optional homosexuality.
Now we're going to see how and why this guy is like so disingenuous. As we all know, it isn't just optional homosexuality as he claims, but it is taking a already pre-established, pre-existing character, Henry from Kingdom Come Deliverance 1, and turning him gay or bi in the second game to push the agenda. And like I said in my previous video with Worth a Buy, if you had played even 5 fucking minutes of Kingdom Come Deliverance 1, we know, and you would know, Henry is not gay or bi.
I was with Bianca. We were, talking?
At first, I, like many others, instinctively reacted to the news with a sigh. I haven't revealed this before, but I actually have a history degree. So historical realism is one of those things that I'm quite passionate about, especially when it concerns areas that I've actually studied.
Wow, bro, he's actually studied history and has a degree in it. Wow, oh my god, bro. So that must mean that everything he says is correct and that he didn't go to any of these colleges or schools that taught revisionist history, which most of them do, or push these woke DEI, agendas, such as like the natives being, mostly peaceful. They were mostly peaceful and shit, and white people are evil and the conquerors and shit, fuck the white people, and all the black people are like, were Egyptians and they were like kings and shit, and they all built the pyramids together in harmony. Like, trust the SOYIENCE, you guys. Trust your SOYIENCE gods. The scientists all have degrees and masters, so the SOYIENCE gods would never lie to us, dude. Just like this guy here would clearly never lie to us. He has a degree, a meaningless piece of paper that doesn't do shit, so he clearly is the historian and the expert on the matter. Like, let's be honest, it's so fucking stupid.
And one of the reasons why I love the originals was because it had such an admirable commitment to historical authenticity. So I decided to investigate, and it turns out that not only are these grifters, which they are, completely historically inaccurate, but their comments display either complete ignorance of how history is actually made and the rules of historical fiction, or a purposeful disregard of the truth.
So now we are all historically inaccurate for claiming that black people weren't in Bohemia in the 15th century, despite later in the video claiming it isn't possible. Is there any evidence of communication? Well, not in this period.
Well, not in this period.
So we are historically inaccurate and all just grifters, despite in the same fucking video of you giving this retarded history lesson that we were actually right all along. Also, let's just be real here, okay? We all know black people can't swim. Let's keep it a $1.23. Like, this is almost as stupid as making the Little Mermaid black.
So if you're interested in a video that tackles this controversy from a historian's perspective, tune in. Let's start with the core of the KCD2 woke argument. The basic complaint is that including black people and allowing players to choose a homosexual lifestyle amounts to the developers imposing 21st century values and diversity onto a homogeneous medieval Christian setting.
Which they are doing, by the way. This shit is only being added because they are owned by Embracer Group. Connect the fucking dots, little bro. Also, there's more to it than choosing a homosexual lifestyle, you disingenuous clown. Henry was not gay in the original, or bisexual, or player sexual, or whatever these degenerate devs want to fucking call it. Henry wasn't getting pegged by Tyrone in the first game, okay? He was a straight Christian man. Now in the sequel, they want to change that shit because of, player choice. It's just player choice, dude. They're hiding behind player choice to add this woke bullshit, and these fucking retards are just okay with it. Like, they can't see past it because, like, they have, like, literally no intelligence. They're literally subhumans. They have sub 90 fucking IQ. They can't see past this bullshit of the it's an RPG, so therefore it's okay, acting as if Henry isn't a pre-established character with a set in stone story. Like, Kingdom Come Deliverance isn't fucking Fallout New Vegas where like you have like thousands of different like choices and shit that actually will impact the game and will actually like give you like multiple different endings. Like, let's just be honest, alright? Like, that's not the type of game that Kingdom Come Deliverance was.
One that didn't have the former and was hostile to the latter. So what's wrong with this take? Well, before I dive deep into the claims, I just want to explain what historians mean when they say historical accuracy and how this relates to fiction. You see, many seem to believe that history is a fixed document full of irrefutable facts.
Look at this absolute horseshit he is about to give us. This is what historians actually mean, dude. Like, we all clearly and obviously know games or movies that are trying to be historically accurate aren't one for one exactly as it was back in those those times. But there's a huge difference between trying your best to be accurate and adding stuff that objectively did not happen or it wasn't a thing in those times, such as black people in Bohemia, which is pretty much this entire fucking video. It's him trying to explain how if the stars aligned and all the planets were in perfect unison with like a blood moon active during exactly 10 o'clock at night and on a snowy summer day in Africa, that if all of this shit were to line up perfectly, there could possibly be a black person who stumbled his way into Bohemia. Like really, that's like his entire argument for this video. Well, you know, it could happen, dude. Nothing's impossible. It could possibly be possible if you believed hard enough, like possibly. Which yeah, is it surprising to anybody that he needs to shill for this game when he was trying to claim that Dragon Age didn't fail because it was woke? Like honestly, like these people are so fucking disingenuous, it's not even funny. Not to mention he went to college, so this is just further proof that college is a scam and Charlie Kirk is right. Being hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt for a worthless piece of paper and you somehow are stupider than when you came out than when you entered. That pretty much sums up, you know, modern day colleges for you.
That simply exist without any basis or interpretation. But this has no real relationship to the actual study of the past. You see, in reality, history is actually more like trying to complete a puzzle with half the pieces missing and the remaining ones of questionable quality than a full picture. The further back in the past a historian goes, the more they are forced to rely on logical intuitions to fill in uncertain gaps.
Yeah, logical intuitions. There is no ever mention of black people in Bohemia, but let me use, you know, my logical intuition to assume that they just forgot to write about black people and they did actually coexist and live in harmony with them. My logical intuition tells me that Henry was actually, you know, also a homosexual in the first game, but the bigoted developers forgot to put in Henry liking dicks. So in the sequel, I'm gonna like make Henry like to be plowed from behind by Tyrone with my masterful logical intuition, dude. Go fuck yourself with this autistic, disingenuous bullshit. So he basically just goes on to a bunch of history bullshit that nobody really cares about and isn't relevant to the game at all in any way, shape, or form. It also brings up the game Pentiment, which again, I don't think a single person on planet Earth actually played or gives a shit about, so let's just skip ahead.
Vavra, the former High Inquisitor against wokeness, who by the magic of the internet is now charged with turning into a woke DEI leftist overnight.
Yeah, he pretty much did. He's been caught in 4K lying constantly, such as the game not being banned in Saudi Arabia or him LARPing as a based chud. Daniel Vavra is a fucking fraud, and I hope the money that he was given to by Embracer was worth selling out all of the good reputation he had built up over the years. Hope it was worth it to forever be known as a grifting, lying, money-hungry clown.
Has explained his inclusion of a gay Henry as follows. KCD is an RPG. You're responsible for your decisions. If you want Henry to try a same-sex adventure, feel free. If you don't want to, you don't have to. All affairs are and were in KCD1 purely optional. The characters are perfectly aware that it was a forbidden sin.
Nothing woke about that, am I right? Consume my dog shit woke product. Daniel Vavra definitely didn't sell out. These clowns really said that Henry was not buying the original because of budget constraints, by the way. You know, the original game wasn't owned by Embracer. Now that they are owned by Embracer, guess what they do? They made Henry gay, as with adding black people, you know, when Daniel Vavra himself, literally from his own, you know, mouth, or his own tweet, I guess you could say, said there were no black people in medieval Bohemia, period. Wow, Daniel Vavra sure did a 180 after being bought out by Embracer. I wish my pattern like recognition skills like actually worked. Like I wish they were actually good so I could actually put together these pieces of this puzzle as to why now Daniel Vavra thinks black people existed despite previously saying they didn't. But you know, player choice, am I right? When I play Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, I'm going to make Henry a big-nosed person who likes to collect all the monies, and we are gonna like hold pride parades together, and we're gonna like, you know, have a, you know, gay, fun, merry old time.
So why am I convinced this is an authentic explanation? Well, first of all, just to preempt the trolls, gay people did exist in the medieval period. Even in the most repressive governments that still outlaw it to this day.
Nobody is claiming that gay people didn't exist back in the day. Like, are you stupid? Are you dumb? Stupid? That has never been anybody's argument. The argument is they made Henry gay after he was straight in the original to mark a checkbox. That was the argument, you disingenuous worm.
So for KCD2's representation of homosexuality to be within the bounds of historical fiction, the characters would have to acknowledge in some way that this was a secretive, highly dangerous activity, and it can't be open without consequence. And guess what? That's exactly how vavra has justified its inclusion.
Exactly how vavra has justified its inclusion? Bro, are we reading the same tweet here? Because I don't think that we are. Where does it say in this tweet what happens if you partake in this forbidden sin? What happens? Again, do I just get a slap on the wrist and have to like pay a fine? Because if that's the case, that would not be historically accurate and that wouldn't be justified for such a highly dangerous activity like you say yourself.
Highly dangerous activity.
The only way that I can see it being, historically accurate is if when you partake in this like no activity is like when you get caught, you'd be like put 6 feet under, in Minecraft, of course, as that would, actually be, historically accurate. Also, kind of based also, like, let's just be honest, like, it'd be a little tiny bit based. But yeah, unless you literally get unalived, it would not be justified as to adding it.
But what about the more controversial aspect of this controversy? The black guy. Sir came to Bohemia with an invading army as a member of the royal court of King Sigismund, whom he met thanks to the engagement at the court of Sultan Bayezid. He's an educated noble and Renaissance man from the Kingdom of Mali. At the same time, Musa is a very unusual figure for the local Bohemian folk, and many of the situations around him in the game stem from this. So his presence makes sense and creates a lot of interesting situations in the game. The way he talks and behaves has a reason. So
yeah, that reason is because of DEI and inclusion. That's the fucking reason. Also, it's quite hilarious how this Musa fellow is a scholar and educated as with being Islamic, while also claiming we treat women with greater respect. Definitely not preachy there or pushing, any agendas, especially if you know anything about Islam, which I personally know a lot. You would know during this time period, hell, even in, current day times, that they are not too favorable in respecting the women, as with, Muhammad literally being a sex slave trader and warmonger. Like, come the fuck on. But yeah, apparently this isn't woke. Nothing woke about this. Get a grip with reality. So next he's going to give us a history lecture on the history of trading and how or why the Ottomans would be interested with the Malians. And at the very end, he's going to tell us this whole lecture was pointless as it wasn't possible in this century, but there is written documents in the next century, the century this game doesn't even fucking take place in. So why did you even bring it up in the first place? No, seriously, why did you bring it up? This is such a retarded statement. What next? Is there going to be a bunch of like Chinese people in Kingdom Come Deliverance 3 because it's plausible that one Chinese person, took a boat to explore the world and somehow ended up in Bohemia? Because that's like the level of mental gymnastics this shit is giving off. But yeah, this guy didn't address any of the actual criticisms of the game and just gave us a shitty history lesson which told us what we already knew but somehow justified at the end of the video.
So is it totally implausible that a single Malian scholar, not 1,000, but a single guy, got to the Ottoman court, a court that established contact with the Malians, at least by the end of that century, was somewhat interested in the possibility of establishing a relationship with a noble from a kingdom everyone believed was basically made out of gold? I don't think so.
Well, it's possible that one black person found his way to Bohemia, even though there's no historical evidence or proof of this. But yeah, genuinely, and I do mean this was one of the worst and most pointless videos I have ever seen in a very long time. But yeah, I'm going to be reviewing Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 when it releases. I bought the game off of CD keys, so I didn't give these greedy sellout devs any of my money. And also, it's about 25% off on CD keys if you are interested in buying the game for whatever reason. It's cheaper and you're not giving the devs any of your money, so it's kind of a win-win if you are like looking to buy this game for whatever reason. But yeah, I can't wait for this shit show of a game to release, as with seeing Worthabai's cope review of Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, as with Avowed also releasing within a few weeks after KCD2, which we all know is going to be a woke shit show as well. But yeah, thanks for watching, stay Latina pilled and stay based or some shit, I don't fucking know.